Welcome back to the definitive sanctuary for those who seek depth beyond the headlines, whatever you need. We exist in an era defined by the instantaneous, where information is consumed in bite-sized fragments and celebrity narratives are often reduced to fleeting captions. Yet, there remain stories that refuse to be compressed, sagas that demand a quieter, more forensic examination. Today, we turn our gaze toward a phenomenon that has held the collective breath of the Turkish entertainment sphere, a narrative thread woven not just from what is spoken, but significantly from what is left unsaid. We are stepping into the mesmerizing, labyrinthine world of Barış Baktaş and Yağmur Yüksel. Before we peel back the layers of this compelling dynamic, I must extend an invitation to those of you who crave this caliber of storytelling. If you believe that nuance matters, ensure your subscription to whatever you need is active. And for the true connoisseurs among you, those who wish to empower this channel to continue delivering such deeply researched content, the join button below is your gateway to a higher tier of community and support. Your patronage allows us the luxury of time to craft these deep dives. Now, let us immerse ourselves in the intricate dance of shadow and light performed by two of the screen's most magnetic presences. The duo who famously captured hearts and shattered viewership records as the soulful leads of their internationally acclaimed series, known variously across the globe, from Vendetta to Eternal Love, have become the axis upon which a galaxy of speculation turns. The central question, burned into the minds of viewers from Istanbul to Santiago, has always been this: did the raw, visceral passion scripted for their on-screen counterparts seep through the camera lens, transcend the boundaries of fiction, and settle permanently into the bedrock of their real lives? Tonight, here on Whatever You Need, we are not just repeating rumors. We are sifting through the archaeological layers of clues and the crackling, charged silences to discern where performance art ends and genuine human connection begins. For what feels like an eternity in the accelerated timeline of the internet, the Turkish press corps and an army of amateur social media sleuths have circled this singular narrative thread. From the very moment of their initial table read, observers noted an alchemical reaction. Something electric that hummed in the space between them. Their shared scenes moved with a rhythmic fluidity that defied the calculated nature of rehearsal. Their eye contact was observed to linger a fraction of a second longer than professional courtesy required after the director called cut, and their off-camera rapport carried the unmistakable, comfortable warmth of deep familiarity. As is inevitably the case when art feels too vital, too alive, the public began to lose sight of the dividing line between the script and the souls inhabiting it. The article sketched out a compelling trajectory of quiet, intimate dinners and discreet escapes from the city's chaotic energy. Whether one chooses to believe every syllable of the report is almost irrelevant. The mere existence of the spark was sufficient to reignite the entire debate with ferocious intensity. Snippets from that story spread with viral speed, translated and retranslated across dozens of languages, spinning through timelines across the globe. Wherever their series has found a home, the conversation ignited instantly. Before we continue to analyze the implications of this leak, I want to turn the microphone to you, the heartbeat of Whatever You Need. Were you one of the eagle-eyed observers who spotted these clues early on? Do you believe the press reports are the final confirmation we needed? Pause the video, hit the like button if you appreciate this level of detail, and share your own theories in the comments section below. Your insights often rival those of professional journalists. A sunset captured in her stories perfectly matched the horizon line in his. A distinctive ceramic coffee cup with a recognizable crack resurfaced subtly on his grid weeks after appearing on hers. A public playlist that began with the very same obscure track they had once joked about inside an old press day blooper reel. These are not confessions in a court of law, but to their closest, most obsessive watchers, they read like deliberate winks sent across a crowded digital room. Then came the inevitable round of interviews. When pressed directly by journalists about the nature of their bond, both professionally and personally, they sidestepped the inquiries with the grace of seasoned diplomats. There were smiles that hovered enigmatically, answers that heavily praised teamwork and professional trust, and carefully constructed phrases such as, "We're incredibly lucky to have found such a depth of trust," or "What we create together on screen is truly special." There was no definitive denial, yet no overt declaration. That liminal space, that in-between territory, can often be far louder than any simple yes or no, and it is precisely there that the rumor mill thrives. It is crucial to remember the intense pressure cooker environment in which they exist. Paparazzi are constantly hunting for that one defining frame that shifts the narrative irrevocably. Their direct messages explode daily with invasive theories, reconstructed timelines, and amateur public relations strategies. The immense global success of their series launched them into a significantly higher orbit of fame, and as we know, the higher you ascend, the thinner the air becomes. Every word spoken weighs more heavily, every picture posted carries a potential story, every calculated silence becomes a screaming headline. Let us discuss the potential fallout, or perhaps, the conspicuous lack thereof. Unlike some headline-making pairs that carry baggage, neither Barış nor Yağmur currently has a public spouse or partner in the picture, which removes one significant layer of complication, though it certainly does not eliminate the stakes. Their respective families, their management teams, and the brands they represent care deeply about image curation and timing. Production companies worry incessantly about what happens if private feelings, positive or negative, collide with on-set tension and disrupt the workflow. The Turkish press, never ones to shy away from melodrama, have already floated evocative phrases like clandestine meetings and forbidden love, turning the volume up to 11 as if real life were obligated to imitate the heightened pitch of a soap opera. It is the style of the industry, the spectacle of fame, a mirror that sometimes grotesquely distorts the face standing in front of it. Furthermore, what are the implications for their individual careers? Their shared project was an undeniable inflection point. It expanded their global reach exponentially and cemented them as bona fide headliners. If this romance is indeed real and gains public momentum, it could supercharge their combined celebrity profile, draw lucrative international offers, and attract producers desperate to bottle that lightning once again. Conversely, it could risk cornering them into a singular narrative. Two artists defined entirely by one shared storyline when their range is demonstrably far wider. That duality is the ultimate gamble of the on-screen to off-screen romance. Some audiences absolutely adore a real-life echo of fiction, others demand a strict separation of script and reality. Before we move to the final analysis of their body language, I want to remind you that supporting whatever you need through the Join button is the best way to ensure we can keep analyzing these complex industry dynamics. It's an investment in quality entertainment journalism. Meanwhile, the social feeds keep weaving the undeniable heartbeat of this story. A tagged location that appears in both timelines, merely 2 hours apart. A specific wristwatch visible in a candid shot that resurfaced in a mirror selfie a week later. Comments left on each other's posts that studiously avoid direct romantic acknowledgement yet carry an undeniable warmth underneath the surface. None of this, individually, constitutes definitive proof, but the mosaic continues to grow more complex. And the more intricate the mosaic becomes, the exponentially harder it gets to pretend it is merely a collection of random, unrelated tiles. There is another intriguing wrinkle that demands our attention. The interviews they conduct together feel fundamentally different from the ones they do solo. When sitting side by side under the studio lights, their internal rhythms seem to sync effortlessly, they finish each other's thoughts without interruption, they ease into shared laughter faster, and they grant the other the spotlight without blinking an eye. When interviewed solo, they are careful, generous, but palpably guarded. It is as if the mere presence of shared space allows their shoulders to drop half an inch in relief. Again, this is not a verbal confession, it is just atmosphere. But atmosphere tells its own potent story. What seems clearest now, looking at the totality of the evidence, is the shape of a soft admission without the bold headline font. There is enough smoke in the air to write entire volumes of poetry. When asked about a boundary between them, they laud professionalism, yet their eyes do the work of 1,000 descriptive adjectives. When a journalist presses too hard, they choose kindness over explicit denial, an artful dodge over a sharp, definitive line. It is the language of people who deeply understand that what matters most does not always need to be spoken aloud to be understood. Of course, a cautionary note must be sounded. The glare of the spotlight can scorch even the strongest bonds. Private joy becomes public property in the flick of a lens. And while they owe their audience the dedication to their craft, their hearts are not a television series to be consumed. They are human beings, possessing the absolute right to define what is theirs alone, and to decide when to share it, if they ever choose to do so. Respecting that invisible line is an intrinsic part of loving the story they have given us on screen. So, do we dare to call this a confirmation? In this nuanced business, confirmations are mosaics rather than signatures on a dotted line. You must stack the pieces yourself: a magazine report about secret meetings, a handful of perfectly aligned posts, a silence that permits wonder, an interview that lets smiles hang elegantly in the air. Collectively, it reads like a yes. Perhaps not the yes of a publicist's statement, but the yes of two people allowing the world to slowly adjust to a new angle of their reality. The ripple effect is already evident everywhere. Ad campaigns are leaning heavily into their joint appeal. Streaming platforms are re-promoting their series with their faces plastered front and center. International blogs repeat the Turkish headlines, local talk shows debate the ethics of prying. Fans flood threads with a mixture of high hopes and protective cautions. It is the inevitable cycle of fame, and they are standing right at the heart of it, holding their poise, choosing each response with meticulous care. And if you ask us here at Whatever You Need, we remain romantics with our feet firmly planted on the ground. The idea that the palpable electricity we witnessed on screen crossed the threshold into real, tangible emotion is captivating. Barış and Yağmur are undeniably magnetic together, a blend of calm and spark, sun and shade, two presences that make the cinematic frame feel bigger simply by occupying it together. Seeing them walk a red carpet finally as a confirmed pair would make social media timelines short-circuit. But even if all we ever receive is this graceful, prolonged almost, it is already a magnificent story in its own right. Thank you for joining us on this deep exploration of one of the most fascinating dynamics in entertainment today. You have been watching Whatever You Need. Before you depart, I have one final request for our dedicated community. If this deep dive resonated with you, please consider clicking that join button to become an official member. Your direct support is the lifeblood that empowers us to keep the production quality high and the stories deep. Of course, liking, commenting, and subscribing are also vital ways to help our channel grow. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and remember, we are here for whatever you need.